Hernandez, this is my audience. Today I'll be talking about the one-child policy. For almost 5 decades, the population of China has been suffering countless abuses to their human rights to such an extent that thousands of people commit suicide on a daily basis. The purpose of this speech is to talk about the one-child policy that has been forced in China and that has oppressed them for so long. I will talk about the reasons that led the government of China to take such an extreme measures, the social effects that this policy triggered, and its current status. In 1949, China was already the country with the biggest population, with about 3 times that of the United States. Soon after Mao Zedong took the power, the use of any kind of birth control was eliminated. The government was ambitious, and in effort to increase the country's economy and take advantage of the increasing of workforce, they decided to put all his interest in industries like steel rather than agriculture. As a result, China found itself starving for nearly 15 years until they could restore the grain per capita production. By 1970, the population had increased to 2.8%, leading to 250 million more people. The government was having difficult times trying to keep up with its people's needs, so they had to target the population growth rate. They began by facilitating contraceptive and abortion services in the rural areas. The policy was established in 1979. People were encouraged to have a single child, and as a result, they were received rewards to those who cooperated, as housing allocation, preferential housing allocation, health services, schools, financial aid. The people from some of the largest cities were okay with the policy, since most of them had already decided to only have one child, since they had a lot of responsibilities and didn't have too much time. However, the families on the rural areas, which counted as the majority, were not so happy about the loss. The family with limited savings, usually the ones on the rural areas, will be most affected. They will need children to support them. Married daughters will always move into their husband's house. So what means that they will need sons. The one-child policy especially stated that every family was only allowed to have a single child, with exceptions of some states that could have a second one if the first one was a female. As a result, gender inequality was emphasized, and female newborns were discriminated to the point of being abandoned, aborted, and unregistered. Families who did not obey the policy were forced into abortion and sterilization, and fined 3 times their annual income per child. Ultrasounds to detect the sex of the fetus was illegal and at the same time a lucrative business, and so did the human traffic of little girls. Every woman was forced to wear an IUD, which is an intrauterine device. They were supposed to report their menstrual cycle and receive mandatory ultrasound periodically. China's current population is about 1.28 billion, a quarter of the world's population, according to the World Population Meter. Finally, the one-child policy has come to an end in 2015, or that's what the Chinese government says. The people of China are now allowed to have 2 children per couple, what means that nothing has changed at all. The purpose of this, I believe that the purpose of this, behind the one-child policy, could be an ideal solution if we were talking mathematically. But in this case, we're talking about people, not numbers. So there should be another way of solving this issue without violating the human rights. this is the end.